Hey, what is up? My name is Juan Castaneda. I'm a mortgage loan officer, and I'm making this video. I found this checklist in a company folder. It's going over the documentation needed that we request on all purchase transactions. If you're looking to buy a property or you're looking to refinance a property or properties, this is usually what we ask for. And I thought, hey, someone could benefit from this just by knowing this up front. So here it goes. We'll go through it. The first part is general information. We usually have to establish citizenship. If you are a US citizen, then just providing a copy of your driver's license is enough. If you don't have it or you don't have a social security number, then you'll probably need a resident alien card, a passport, work and visa, anything that shows what kind of citizenship you have here. Even an ITIN number will allow us to figure out what programs you may qualify for. So yeah, copy of your driver's license for all the people, all of the people on the loan, and then you have what's called an HOA for your homeowners association if you're living in a condo, or if you've got a PUD type of residence. Usually just the name of the association and the phone number. We can call them and um, get the master policy from them directly. Then homeowners insurance. Every home should have homeowners insurance, even if it's free and clear, even if it's a rental. So if you can't find the policy or the declaration page, then give us the agent's name and the phone number, and we'll do the rest. If you don't, if you don't even know who your homeowner insurance is, you can call your lender, your current lender, and the servicing department should be able to let you know who your homeowner's insurance is. Okay, so then you have the letter of intent regarding departing residence. And this is only needed if you are moving out of your property to convert it into a rental property, or if you're selling and closing concurrently, or selling at a later date. You'll need that letter. Okay, so moving forward, you've got your credit section. So when we run credit and we check out your credit report, there may be derogatory terms, remarks on that credit. And if we do see those, we're going to need a letter explaining what happened for you to receive those derogatory remarks. And then if you have ran credit, or if someone has ran your credit in the past 90 days, as it says here, or sometimes even up to 120 days, then the credit report itself will populate a section all the way in the back of the report with a list of the lenders or institutions that ran your credit. And for each one, you'll have to select whether or not you extended credit with that creditor or what was the purpose of them running your credit. And then you'll need to sign and date at the bottom. We'll need that letter. Okay, so then moving forward with the bankruptcies and the foreclosures slash short sales, there's paperwork involved with that. If it's a bankruptcy, then we'll need all of the chapter or all of the schedules for the chapter and then the discharge paperwork as well. Foreclosure and short sale, it's pretty much the same. We'll need to figure out when you did the foreclosure short sale to determine when the seasoning requirements are complete. Okay, so then the verification of rent. If you're renting a property right now and looks and hopes to purchase a property, then we'll need the landlord's name. If it's a commercial, like a property management, we'll need their information. Whoever it is, we'll need the name and at least 12 months of canceled checks to prove that you've been making rent. Okay, divorce decree. So this is needed if you've recently gone through a divorce. They'll give you the decree, and that will eliminate your ex-partner's responsibility, financial responsibility, from moving forward. And if there are any child support payments or alimony payments going or coming, the divorce decree will be needed to use that or count that against your qualifications. Okay, so that's it for credit. Now we've got your income. For income, typically you'll have your wage earner or a salary position. For these type of positions, usually 30 days of most recent pay stubs and the W-2, so the most recent 2 years for W-2s is going to be enough for your typical employment. For the pay stubs, it says on here it should have your year to date on the pay stub, and that'll be enough. However, if you're receiving overtime, if you're receiving a bonus or any kind of commission, then we're going to need to see the past 2 years of your tax returns. They're called 1040s, and it'll give us a breakdown of what you're paying for, what income you're paying taxes on, in order to use that for your qualifications. If you have been unemployed in the last 2 years, longer than 30 days, then we're going to need a job gap letter explaining what happened. If it was COVID, if you've lost your job, if you just couldn't find a find a job, whatever it was, we'll need a letter explaining that. Okay, and then you have your business tax returns. If you're running your own business, you're usually filing either 1120, 1120S, 1065, and we'll need to see the last 2 years of your business tax returns with all the schedules that are filed. If you have a partnership in the business, then you're doing K1s, and we'll need to see those in order to prove that you have at least 25% ownership in the property. And then you have, in any business, a profit and loss statement. That's usually done by your accountant. They can provide the year-to-date profit and loss statement, whether we need it audited or not. They'll be able to help you out with that. On the notes, it says that usually FHA and VA require it, but if I'm not mistaken, even conventional requires it. It just depends on um, what time of the year you're refinancing. It says required if greater than 90 days from last tax filing date. Okay, so then you've got your school transcripts. If you haven't been working for the past 2 years, you've been in school, the underwriter is going to want to see your school transcripts, so get those ready if you haven't been working for a full 2 years and you've been in school. If you have a trust, we'll need to see the trust agreement to use that income to qualify. If you have left the state, if you have secured another job, we'll need to see the employment contract. And with that document, it'll let us know how much you're getting plan on getting paid, who the new employer is going to be. And that's usually we'll use that in lieu of the 30 days of pay stubs. So then you have your retirement income. If you are receiving Social Security or a pension, will need receipt of those payments. So if you have Social Security, there's an award letter that gets sent out every year. And if not, you can pull that from the online portal. If you're receiving a pension from a retirement account, then we'll need to see that statement. And then what else here? This is a copy of a note receivable or notes receivable. So we'll need the copy of a note, evidence of at least 3 years continuance, and a minimum of 3 months of receipt. Then rental agreements. If you have rental properties, we'll need to see the mortgage statement, the homeowner's insurance, and if applicable, the homeowners association statement for all properties that you have. Okay, so that's it for employment and income. Moving down to assets, if you're purchasing a property or if you need reserves for finance, then these are the documents that we'll need to prove that you have the assets and that they're liquid or semi-liquid. So if the assets are in your checkings and savings account, we'll need to see at least 2 months of the most recent bank's checking or savings account statements. If the assets are in your IRA, 401k, an investment in a mutual fund, retirement account statement, these are done in quarterly blocks, and they need to have your name, they need to have the institution name, the account number, the whole thing to make sure that it's under your name, it's yours. If the assets are in a joint account, then we'll need a letter from the joint account holder verifying that you as the borrower actually have access to all these funds. And that's only if the account holder, the joint account holder, is not a spouse. And if we actually need those assets, like I said, for um, either a down payment, the closing cost for a purchase or refinance, or monthly reserves required by the actual loan program. And then we have a letter from the accountant verifying that the access to the funds will not adversely affect the business and you actually have access to the funds. So if required, we're going to need that letter of the accountant letting us know that taking out this money will not ruin your business and you actually have access to these funds, so they're liquid. Okay, so moving forward is the closing and settlement statement on property sold. So again, if you are um, selling a property in order to buy a property with those funds, then we're going to need to see the closing, the settlement statement before we fund in order to have that new transaction go through. And then you have a gift letter or and evidence of receipt. So if you're receiving a gift from a relative for your down payment or closing costs, um, there's a checklist that need to be filled out. And there's usually a gift letter and an evidence of receipt that you received the check or the wire. Okay, so then copy of the earnest money deposit, usually for purchases. If you're purchasing a property, you'll need to put down what's called a earnest money deposit, and then as long as escrow sends you a receipt that they have the earnest money deposit or a copy of the canceled check, then we'll be all good. And I think other than that, the VAs for our veterans, we need a certificate of eligibility. I asked for the DD 214 up front, but sometimes the VA will give us the certificate of eligibility, letting us know that you're eligible as a veteran to go through with a VA program um, and how much you're entitled to. Make sure everything is okay. You have your DD 214 form just in case they can't provide us based on their database. And that's it. Obviously, depending on your situation, um, there's more or there's less. So going off of this is a good benchmark to know what documents you may need depending on your situation. Feel free to drop down a comment or any question that you may have about it, and I'll definitely try to get to it and answer and help out as much as I can. But that's it for me. I hope you guys have a great day and let me know. Have a great one.